Good squad, back at y'all with another video. Today's topic is you're stronger than what you think. So when we go through these things in life, sometimes you get caught up in the everyday motions and emotions and moving around. Things happen. It'll catch up to you. It'll make you feel like you're not handling situations the way that you need to handle it, or to the capacity that you should be handling it. Or sometimes, something will come up and get you in your feels and your emotions, and you might have an instance of feeling weak, but or not of yourself. But what you got to realize is you're stronger than what you giving yourself credit for. There's a lot of things that you went through in your life that you were able to overcome obstacles and things that might have deterred you and made you go one way and took you off the path you were trying to go down. You found your way back. You found the inner strength to overcome those obstacles, those hurdles, and find your way back to your path. So when it comes down to it, you got to always recognize and realize that you're stronger than what you're giving credit for. You're extremely powerful, but you just haven't tapped into your energy enough to really realize that, or you haven't given yourself the recognition that you should in order to realize how strong you actually are. When you do that, that's when you tap into different energies within yourself, and you're able to overcome these things easier than you would when you're feeling weak in the moment. And that's what it comes down to. Sometimes when we're caught up in our everyday things and we're going through the motions of life and dealing with whatever we deal with, and you want in certain outcomes and circumstances to go a certain way that you want, it could be hard. It could be it can make you feel like a shell of yourself, or it can make you feel like you're not moving in the ways that you should be moving. But what you got to understand is that, again, you are doing everything that you can within your power to handle these situations to your best ability at the time, and you're right where you're supposed to be in the moment. And sometimes when you do get beside yourself, you have to, there's somebody else within your life who's gonna come along and remind you of your strength. And that's why it's always good to have those close connections and relationships, so that when you are feeling weak and you do have to lean on somebody else, you have that person there, those people, to remind you exactly of your power and the power that you hold. So that's why the people who are around you and who embrace you and who bring light, goodness, joy, and they remind you of how special you are and how powerful you are. That's why it's good to keep those people around, because we all have weak moments in life, depending on whatever circumstances we're going through. We're all human beings at the end of the day, so we all share similar emotions and feelings that coincide with whatever circumstances you might be going through. So when you have those situations, it's always nice to have that person in your corner telling you, like, yo, no, I understand you're going through this and that, but yo, look in the mirror and look at all you've been through already. So yeah, you're going through something, but you're going to overcome this just like you overcame everything else within your life. So don't be too down on yourself, or don't forget who you are on the inside. You know what I'm saying? This outside stuff tends to get in the way and distract us from who we actually are on the inside. But when we tap into who we are on the inside and remember our strength, our power, and the fact that we're not alone at the end of the day, like, even if you don't have that many people in your life, that doesn't mean that you don't have people in your life. You just might not have a whole wide range of people, but there are people in your life who, again, are going to come through, and they could be close personal friends, or it could be a complete stranger. You might pull up on somebody, or they might pull up on you, and y'all have a conversation, and then you get to realizing from the conversation, or them seeing the type of energy or whatever you have, they get to telling you about how special you are. They tell you how great your energy feels, and that brings your self-esteem up, your sense of self up, whatever it may be. You know what I mean? It brings you to a better feeling place. So y'all got to always remember how powerful you are. And again, like I always say, it starts from the inside. Your energy, your inner God, that's what it's about. When you tap into your inner essence, that inner power that you hold, and you realize, again, everything that you've been through and how you've overcome those things, it makes it easier within the moment to realize, like, okay, I'm going through a situation, but I can overcome this because I overcame all this other stuff to get here. So that means that I have the strength and the inner fortitude to overcome this stuff too, and be able to therefore move to a better situation and standpoint within my life outside of whatever I'm going through in this present time and moment right now. So you're more powerful than what you're giving yourself credit for. And that's the message for today. You know what I'm saying? We all are special in our own ways. And you got to remember that. You know what I'm saying? Lean on the people who are in your corner, who are telling you how special you are, who are telling you how strong you are, who are admiring how you handle situations and how you deal with certain situations. And, or, you know, if you need a helping hand or something like that, or some words of encouragement or whatever the case may be, you have those people around you. You just got to tap in with them and let them be what they're supposed to be within your life. You know what I'm saying? And then you look in the mirror and you tell yourself, and you assure yourself of how strong you are. You know what I mean? One of my favorite movies ever, The Lion King. And when Rafiki was taking Simba through that forest, and then he came out the forest, and he was going through a time in his life where he wasn't sure of himself. And Rafiki was like, well, let me take you here. And he said, you know, he looked in the water, he saw a reflection of himself, and then Rafiki tapped the water, and then the reflection of his father came up, and then the clouds and all, you know, the dramatic stuff in the movie came up. And then within the clouds, you know, Mufasa, his father, started talking and said, remember who you are. And that, to me, always stood out as far as that movie, is because after that point, that's when Simba realized his strength and who he was, his lineage. You know what I'm saying? He's a king within his right. But he had forgotten that, you know what I'm saying? So it took the people who he was surrounded by, the presences within his life, to remind him of who he was. And sometimes that's what it takes for us. You know, sometimes we get lost and we forget exactly who we are or how powerful we are. But when we have those people around us who tap in with us and tell us, like, yo, I see you for who you really are, despite how you're feeling right now in the moment. And you are very powerful. You are a special person. You hold a lot of weight in this world that we live in. You hold a lot of weight within my life. Like, I look at you as a valuable person. So when you have that within your life, and somebody comes along and they remind you, like, hey, of how special and powerful you are, and to not settle for whatever it is that's going on within your life, to raise yourself up and remember just how special you are. You know what I'm saying? That's what it's about. It's about the connections at the end of the day. It's about reminding yourself, or when you can't remind yourself, when you're having a moments where you may feel lost, it's about having those people around you who remind you of how powerful you are. You know what I'm saying? So that's what it comes down to. You know what I mean? That's some words of wisdom from me. You are extremely powerful. Whoever is watching this video, whoever watched these videos, you know what I'm saying? You are a special being. You are extremely powerful. Everything's working out the way it's supposed to work out for you. Everything's happening in divine timing and the right timing. So you ain't got to worry about nothing. Just be you. Continue to do good things within the world, so that good energy comes back to you. If you're not doing if you're not doing things that are on a good vibe or frequency, then you need to stop doing that stuff. Introduce more good things into your life, so then you have a good flow of energy and a better feel within your life. And then once you have a better feel within your life or within yourself, that's when things are going to start to flow naturally and unfold in the way that you want. So that's what it comes down to. You know what I'm saying? If you are not feeling so good, you know what I mean, it might be because either you've forgotten your own power, or you've just succumb to the way that this world works sometimes, and you're working on a low frequency that you don't need to be working at. But again, that's when you tap into your connections with people who you have, and they remind you of just how special and valuable and powerful you are. You tap into your power and you utilize it in the right way for not only you, but for everybody else around you. But that's just some words of wisdom from me. Remember your power. You are very powerful. Remember who you are on the inside, not this outside world that's trying to paint you to be whatever it wants you to be. Remember who you are on the inside and operate from that energy. You know what I'm saying? And everything else will just fall in line. But all right, y'all, I'ma holla.